Alright, good morning, people of YouTube. So we are back again today with a red hybrid deck profile. So this is going to be the Aldamon variant, this format. You know, we've always featured Aldamon every format on the channel, and Bt7 is no exception. You know, all of his friends came out in the set, so we built a deck around him. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you like and subscribe for more of it. We are doing a big giveaway at 1,000 subs. And let's go ahead and get right into the deck profile, starting with the eggs. So we got 4 copies of Kapuri and 1 copy of Demumera. The Demumera is basically here in case the game runs a bit longer, like against the yellow variants. But if you want to only play 4 eggs, the Kapuri is the way to go. And this deck is very, very fast, so I think playing 4 Kapuri might actually be the correct play for the future. So this deck is built with the new Ultimate Cut format in mind. So there is a 5-card sideboard as well. We will be getting into that, but know that whenever we go into the deck profile for the choices. So we got 4 copies of the Bt4 Flamemon. We got 2 copies of the Bt7 Flamemon. And we got 2 copies of the Bt6 Flamemon as our red hybrid rookies. So, the Bt4 Flamemon is objectively better just because it has the higher DP, and it has the potential of grabbing 2 cards whenever you hard play it. But most of the time, whenever you're evolving and raising, you're just using it for the higher DP, because this plus an egg, and then if you have like a starter deck tie out, then this card hits 4,000, and that's actually kind of relevant sometimes. This Flamemon gives you piercing. And in a format with more blockers, we would play more of this. But since there are basically no blockers this format, 2 is fine. It gives you value from swinging over things, but you don't have the potential to suspend things like green does. So you really don't need as many copies of this card, but again, the higher DP is really nice. This card is a 3,000. The new Bt7 Flamemon has an inheritable that lets you play Takuya from your hand on deletion. That's pretty nice as well. So we are including 2 of this. This is also another searcher. I do like this ratio. I was playing more copies of this Flamemon, but once you find one, then you can kind of cycle it under your Emperors, and you have it whenever you need it. And a lot of times you're evolving on top of Tamers and not on top of rookies. So these inheritables don't come up as often as you would think. So yeah, I really just wanted to play at least 8 hybrids in my rookies, and these are the ratios I chose. So the last red rookies in the list, we have 2 copies of the promo Guilmon and 2 copies of the Vorvomon from BT2. So my, don't panic, my Gaussmons are in the sideboard. They aren't really as good against every matchup, and so I do side them, but these cards are really consistent for a Game 1 situation. If you have this card under an egg, then it hits 6,000, and then if you have the red starter deck tie-in board, this card goes up to 7,000 and can swing over pretty much any level 4 hybrid in the game, and it can even trade with the level 5 hybrids, which is really kind of stupid. It evolves for 0 in the raising area, which is what you're going to do all the time that you see this card. But for that reason, I didn't want to include more than 2. But I've been testing it, and I really do like this card out against some of the matchups that you need to go more aggressive against, because this card has a very high likelihood of surviving security checks. And then Guilmon is a consistency piece. You know, you evolve this in your raising area. Again, that 2,000 DP threshold goes up to 3,000, sometimes 4,000. And at 3,000, you're surviving security checks a lot. Just ask any blue hybrid player whenever they swing in with their Syakomon. They'll say that like 50% of the time Syakomon lives. And so 3,000 is just a really good threshold. And anytime you swing with it, you draw a card, which adds to your consistency. And consistency is key. So I guess these are our red rookies. We got 1 more rookie in the deck. We got 4 copies of Brokomon. Brokomon is broken. I was trying Nemon in this list, but red is kind of an inconsistent color just because it doesn't have as much access to draw power. So I did end up cutting the Nemons for more consistency pieces, which included more copies of Bokomon and more copies of this Flamemon and this Flamemon. So in your rookies, you have 10 cards that whenever you hard play them, search you cards, and then 2 cards that whenever you swing with them, let you draw. So this is really nice. Plus, Pokemon does the hybrid thing where you get to gain memory whenever you evolve on Tamers, which is really, really fun. So going into level 4s, we got 4 copies of the new Burning Greymon. The one that says you can pop something that's 4,000 DP or less. This card is really nice into blue hybrid because it blows up Kumamon. And they don't really see that coming some of the time. And that's really funny. So Burning Greymon is really clutch. You can also evolve it on top of one of your level 4s to get an extra card in your sources whenever you're swinging with your level 5s. Because that will give you the 4 sources that you need if you have the level 2, the level 3, 2 level 4s. Then you'll have the 4 sources for tie to give you the extra security attack. So you can actually make your Aldamon super beefy just because you can slap this on level 4s. And anytime you do that, you pop a body. So this card is really, really fun against decks that want to go wide against you. We have 2 copies of the Bt7 Burning Greymon. So this card has an effect that says it goes up to 9,000 on your turn. This card is here to slap on top of Takuya and slap on top of the Flamemon that gives you piercing, because that's always really fun. But if you slap this on top of Takuya, Takuya will give it a plus 2,000 buff, and then it'll give it security attack plus 1 because it broke that 10,000 threshold required for Takuya's effect. So this is just really, really nice, aggressive card. The 3 cost to evolve all of the time kind of slows it down a little bit, which is why we're only playing 2. But this is definitely a card you want to see in your list. And then the last level 4 we are playing is the 3 copies of Agnes. Agnes is your standard 2 cost to evolve hybrid, and we love Agnes. So 3 copies of Agnes and all of the Burning Greymons as his friends round out this lineup, and it's been really consistent for me, and I absolutely love it. So we'll go into the level 5s. I got 3 copies of the new Aldamon and 2 copies of our pal, the old Aldamon. So we're going to start with the Bt7 Aldamon. This card is kind of a mini-boss. It gets security attack plus 1, and it gets plus 4,000 if you have a Tamer or a hybrid and its sources under it. So it goes up to 11,000. If you have an egg, it goes up to 12,000. If you Atomic Inferno it goes up to 15. And it's just really easy to make this card swing for entire security stacks at just really big thresholds. And this card is really nice. Again, the only thing that sets this card back is the 3 cost to evolve into. So sometimes you build this up in your raising area, like if you have a tie in play, and then you bring it out and then you just Atomic Inferno it to Atomic Inferno the crap out of it, and then just swing for all of your opponent's security at once, and it's really nice. But we also have the new Aldamon from Bt7. The reason I'm playing 3 copies of this one is because it only evolves for 1, and the turn that it evolves, it goes up to 12,000 as a base. That's before any other buffs. So you can get it to 13 with the egg. It doesn't have the security attack plus 1 like this Aldamon does, but it can, Digivolve for 1. So do absolutely love this card. So those are the 5 level 5s that we're playing. I was playing more copies of the Bt7 Aldamon, but I kept seeing too many level 5s in my hand, so I ended up cutting 1, and that number's been working for me. So we'll go to the level 6s. We just play the 3 copies of the emperorgreymon. I'm not playing the ancient Greymon package, mostly because I didn't want to buy them, but also because you have to commit to the promo Aguni, and that's not good all the time. It takes a turn to set up, and if they do something to your Aguni, then your setup is kind of out the window. emperorgreymon is a really easy setup with the Takuya, and it just kind of sticks. Your Aldamon are plenty boss monsters in and of themselves, so if you want to make a more consistent deck than just the ancient Greymon swing face, I feel like this is a good way to go, just because you will still swing for all of their security at once, and it won't cost you like $200 to build the deck, and it's just more consistent. Sure, the Ancient Greymon package does raise the ceiling on this deck a little bit, but I feel like this version is way more consistent, and it's a red deck, so the ceiling is already really high, so I don't really feel like the ceiling needs to be raised. I feel like the consistency needs to be raised, and not relying on the promo Aguni is kind of the way to make that happen. So what Emperor Greymon allows you to do is it allows you to Digivolve over your Takuya late game and just kind of swing for the rest of their security or swing for game with Blitz. And there's not really a whole lot they can do about it because all you have to do is set the Takuya up. And unless they like blow up all of your Tamers with like an Alt-Delete or something, which is much less common in a 5-card side deck format, this card has high potential to go off. So I'm playing 3 because I want to see it, and also because you can just Digivolve this on top of this Aldamon, and then get a delicate plan-like effect against like blue matchups and stuff, and then swing in and then never fear about Hammer Sparks. But it's just a really versatile card. It just has Blitz, and it gives you, like, it's a really simple card, but it adds so much to the versatility and to the consistency of the deck, just because it's so easy to use. And then, yeah, we got the Tamers next. I got 4 copies of good old Takuya. He warps into Emperor Greymon, but his inheritable effect gives you plus 2,000, and then if you break the 10,000 threshold after that, then you get security attack plus 1. So this is really nuts. It combos with a lot of the deck, and it's what you want to evolve on most of the time. We got 3 copies of the Memory Setter tie, because sometimes this will actually give you security attack plus 1. And all of the Burning Greymons do not trigger with Marcus, so this is the optimal one to play. We got 2 copies of the Starter Deck tie. Generic DP Pups are good, so we love this card. Plus, it's a 2-cost Tamer that you can evolve on for basically nothing. You just play this, and then if you have the Boko out, then you got a level 4 in play for only 2 memory. We also have 2 copies of Analog Youth. This card makes our deck much more consistent, and we are swinging in with our level 5s a lot, so if they hit a card in security that would delete them, like an option or something, then you can use the Analog Youth to further your aggression by hatching another egg and getting more memory. Plus, it just fills up your trash a little bit, so that you have the 5 hybrids and trash to get to the Emperor Greymon quicker, so absolutely love the Analog Youth, and it's a great consistency piece in a deck like this. But these are the Tamers that we play. And, yeah, they've all been putting in work for me. Going into the options to close out the deck, we got 4 copies of Atomic Inferno. This is pretty much the reason you play red. It's the 1 cost, make yourself go vroom. We got 1 copy of Atomic Blaster in the main. The rest are in the sideboard. I guess I've pretty much given away the sideboard at this point. But, yeah, it's a good card. If your opponent tries to go wide against you, you punish them for it. And seeing it is always clutch. And then the last card in the deck is also super clutch. Shout out to a longtime supporter of the channel, Whack Attack, for inspiring me to use this card all the way back in Bt7. But we got Gravity Crush. It's still putting in work. There are a lot of times that your opponent will try to memory choke you, and then you just Gravity Crush, and you get an extra Agnes, and you swing for game that way. And it just comes up. You just hold this card until you need to see game. But that's it for the options. Those are all my 50 cards in the main. So going into the sideboard, we got the other 2 Atomic Blaster, and 3 copies of Gaussmon. That's it. It's pretty straightforward. You could do things like Trident Revolver, or Avenge Kidmon, or Fire Drake Strike, but I don't think you need to. I think just a simple side deck is the way to go with red, because your deck is trying to do something very consistently, very, very quickly. So you don't really want to diminish from that strategy by making your side deck too convoluted. So this is the route that I chose to go. But yeah, that's it for the deck profile, you guys. Again, we're trying to get to 1,000 subs, so make sure you guys like, and subscribe and all that jazz, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.